The court hearing is your ultimate test of your brief of evidence, the report you made from the statements you took, from the surveillance you took, from the photographs and measurements you took, from the documents you collected and put together and sent back to your employer. You must know what evidence is in that brief of evidence, what statements or what photos or video. You must have all the original exhibits and notes that will be required during the hearing. You've got to take those with you. Now, this is 5 years later since you actually did that investigation. It might be a year later, it might be 6 months later, it might be 3 years later. But since that time, you've done numerous other investigations and they all fog into one. So before you go into court on this matter, have all that stuff with you. Read through it the day before, get a reminder of what was going on. You must mentally prepare yourself for the hearing. Now, the biggest tip I can give you about going to court is if you know you're going to be in the Workers' Compensation Tribunal next Thursday at 10 o'clock in the morning, pop along tomorrow, which is Thursday, and have a look at the Workers' Compensation Tribunal this week and see what they do. You can stroll into any court in Australia as long as it says on the door, open, except the Family Court and the Children's Court. So any other court, you can wander in and just sit down and watch what happens. So you're familiar with how that court runs, what all those people wearing wigs and Harry Potter flying suits and law books stacked to the ceiling and stuff like what that actually looks like. If you see that the week before, you won't be intimidated by it the day you go in to give evidence. So don't be afraid to go to court. The problem I have with all my students is they're all honest, law-abiding people. They've never been to court, so they don't know what it's like. So if you know you're going to court, go and have a look the week before. Get familiar with how it works. You're allowed to. There's nothing wrong with that. And you can go and walk into any court you want to, as long as it says open on that door. Read over your statement before going to court. It's not necessary to rote learn your statement. Now, back in 1979, Baggy asked Constable Patrick Flynn of the Victoria Police, used to go to court every fortnight.
Every month, yeah, we had one court date a month.
Every month, and he had to memorise every statement that he took from everybody, or he made. So you have to walk around his clothesline in the backyard in Melbourne, rote learning all those statements for when he went to court. That was our system back in 1979. Those days are gone. Today, you can ask permission to read it if it's to look at it or refer to it if required, so you don't have to know it off by heart. Ensure you have all your original contemporaneous notes with you so you can use them to refresh your memory. Now, you might have had them on your phone. You made a note on your phone in Note Taker or something like that, or you might have written it on a newspaper in the car while you were travelling. I don't carry business cards because all I do is end up writing notes on business cards. You have all this presentation in your material, so you have a copy of this. There's only knowledge you haven't got, and I'll organise that. So, basically, have your notes with you in your notebook or however you had them. Keep your original ones with you. Before you go to court, and you will receive an email, a telephone call, a fax, a letter, probably won't get a Snapchat, but it'll be a notification saying you've got to be in this court on this day, date and time. You might even get a summons, someone come and knock on your door and give you a summons to go to court. Just depends on the matter and where it is and how serious it is, okay? So, you might be asked to go and meet with the barrister who's on your side in relation to the matter that you're going to court about. Now, this is pretty amazing. This barrister today, not like Ivan said yesterday, they earn $4,500 a day. Yes, that's what they used to earn 5 years ago at the TAC in Victoria when they were screwed by the TAC to get them down as much as they possibly could. Barrister today is going to cost you about $9,000 a day. So, you're meeting a person and her wage is $9,000 a day. And she's asked you to come into chambers and talk about the court case that's on next week, which is pretty impressive, isn't it, Kai? And you'll go into that office and you'll go up to the 35th floor and you'll meet the office admin person and he'll say, come through here, Kai. And they'll put you in this big boardroom with chandeliers and there's all these oil paintings of all these magistrates in red gowns and wigs all over the wall, and you think this is pretty cool. And in comes the barrister who's on your side. And they say to you this, Kai, you've got all your stuff ready for next Thursday?
Yes.
You have? Okay. All right. You know what time it starts? Okay. I'll see you there. And it's really deflating. That's about as much as it is. Because they're on $9,000 a day, they want to go back and check their super and their investments and put a couple of bets on the TAB or whatever they do, I don't know. Their time is really valuable and they do not go into detail about going to court. Sometimes you'll get one that does and they'll give you a little handy hint. And one said to me once, this magistrate, he really likes people from a commercial background. He doesn't like public servants. Right, okay, got that. Good info. And off I went. So I was only in there for 2 minutes. Every time I've had one of those, they've been less than 3 minutes. So it's not like on TV where you see them all standing around chatting about their tactics before they go to court. No, this person's already done that. The other side have all the information that you collected too. Under the discovery process, they have all your statements, all your photos, all that sort of thing. So they've done a time and event line on your investigation on the other side. So they're preparing on the other side, you're preparing on your side, you've met your barrister. So it's not the first time you meet them when you go into court and get sworn in under evidence in chief. That pre-court conference may only be very brief. Courtroom is a very formal environment. There are strict rules and everyone behaves formally. There's no particular dress codes, but first impressions count. Now, in the public service today, if you're a certificate for a government investigator and you're a gentleman and you want to wear a cocktail frock to work, you are allowed to. You can. It'll make everybody you work with a little bit uneasy and uncomfortable, but you're allowed to. If you want to do that, guys, in the court environment, I'd recommend you just tone it down for that day and not wear that. I'd dress in a pair of trousers and a shirt, tie minimum. Guys, right? Think about their old-fashioned system in courts, right? They're 100 years behind us the way of personal presentation goes. So if your name's Rainbow and you're from Byron Bay and you want to wear your fairy suit to court, don't do it, okay? You will not create a good impression, okay? So guys, minimum of shirt and tie. Ladies, I don't have to tell you how to dress.
The big thing with ladies, make sure your shoulders are covered. That's always a good.
So first impressions are really important.